We good?
Yeah, we are live.
Hey, there we go. Let's get live over there on Instagram. Welcome, everybody. The Patrick Carr Show coming to you, as always, live from Orlando. And there we go. Come on, man. Every day, we're going to find different way to do this so that we don't have to start out our YouTube videos of people going, yeah, we know you have to go live, Patrick. We get it. Okay. But we want to do this because for one very important reason, everyone. We think that live shows are more authentic. We could sit here and record this stuff, right? Yeah. We could actually just go in and replay it over and we could, correct our mistakes and come at it really polished. But that's not what people want to see, right? No. You want to see me screw up. You want to see me stumble my way through stuff that I don't understand. And that's exactly what Anthony and I do every single day right here for you. We've got a great slate of topics. If you're following us from Florida, you're going to want to pay attention to this one. Got a lot of Florida-based stuff here for you today, and also some things that will pertain to the national audience as well. Anthony, as always, behind the camera. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good.
Thank you all for joining us right here. We appreciate it. Get a little lunch break with us, perhaps in the car. We'll talk about some cool things. I do not have my regular energy drink, so I'm drinking Alani, only 200 milligrams, this weak stuff right here of caffeine, but we're going to get through this thing together. Anthony, I don't know if you heard, brother, yesterday, our beautiful city of Orlando got together, and they wanted to talk about the budget here in Orlando. Now, I couldn't miss an opportunity to read what they said in this meeting, and don't worry, man, they did not disappoint everyone. Now, yesterday, we did a story on this homestead tax exemption, and every local municipality has been talking about this because in reality, it's probably going to pass on the ballot, and everybody knows that it will because but what's going to happen when that passes is local municipalities like Orlando are going to have less money coming in from property. And with less money coming in, that means that projects aren't going to happen and local municipalities have their panties in a wad because they can't fund unlimited amounts of projects. And this is exactly what DeSantis was saying when he wanted to put this into place. He was saying, hey, listen, you know what? Yes, local governments are going to get far less money. However, they need far less money. Our government has become so bloated that we need to do something about it. And I think that most people can agree that local governments probably have become bloated, especially here in Florida over the last 10 years. We've got a surplus. We've had money coming in. We have people flocking into the state. And therefore, when that starts to happen, not only do necessary positions like police and firefighters, do they get funded, but then you have these executive positions and you have all these little auxiliary things that start to happen inside of a government. And that's where things start to bloat out. And the city of Orlando, where we are, is an absolute joke, which we talk about on this channel all the time. And they proved just how inept they are as leaders once again last night. And for those of you who think I search out these stories, I really don't. It's just that the leadership in Orlando, Florida, is the worst leadership that you can find in the country. They have managed to drive a city that is located between the largest university in the country and the number one tourist destination in the country, literally right between it, driven that city into the ground. It should be studied in schools for the next 100 years, how not to run a big city in America by studying Orlando of the last 25 years. That is how awful this city has been ran. So let's just rewind about 24 hours, and not even that. We're about 12 hours ago or so here in Orlando. They had their 2026 budget workshop, which was for the fiscal year of 2027. City staff told the council that if they pass this amendment, which is going to pass in November, that the city is going to freeze hiring and leave open jobs unfilled. In other words, we have a deficit here in the city. We're not making enough money. We can't afford what we already have right now. But if this goes into place, not only can we not afford it, we're going to be $58 million short. We also are going to have to freeze hiring in the city as well. So it's like a double whammy here, everybody. The double whammy is that not only are we going to have to freeze hiring, we're also then on top of it going to have a budget deficit. That's happening simultaneously at the same time, whether this amendment passes or it doesn't pass. Buddy Dyer, oh my gosh, his quote last night were programs that residents value may be scaled back. And that is not a prediction. not wild alarmism. It's the reality of municipal finance, no different than your household budget. Buddy Dyer, last night. Okay, everybody, let's really dive into this. Now, I want to ask you about this. First of all, if you have a household budget, okay, and let's say you're making $50,000 a year, you live in an apartment. Hey, listen, you've got $1,000 per month that you've got for rent that you've got to pay. That would be $12,000 a year that you go towards rent. That leaves you with $38,000 left on your $50,000 budget that you've got, because that's all you got for the year. You're making 50 grand. You can't borrow money over here to pay for this or do that. You know you have that. That is what you have right there, is $50,000. So it's very important, if you were doing your household budget, as Buddy Dyer just alluded to, that you would know where the rest of your money was going if you had $38,000 left over after you paid rent, right? Wouldn't you want to know that information? Well, I wanted to know, where is the money going from the city? Because if we have this $58 million deficit, and we're talking about, well, we have to freeze hiring over here if this actual amendment passes, I'd like to know where our city is spending hard-earned dollars, because it surely must be spending it all on police and firefighters. We must be doing useful stuff with the money. Just like Buddy Dyer alludes to, in your household, you would be responsible for your budget. So shouldn't the city be responsible for their budget? So let's take a look at where the city is spending their money. So first of all, there's a general fund. I want to get the numbers straight here for everybody. There's a general fund of about $739 million, all right? Property tax revenue is about $359 million that it pays for of that. Now, police and firefighters, that is $406 million combined. So here's what happens, everybody. You take the $359 million that comes in from property taxes, costs $406 million, and you've got about a $58 million deficit right there that the city is going to have no matter what. Okay, so you're telling me we don't have enough money to pay for the people that we currently have right now, and we're probably not going to be hiring anybody more. So what I would do if I was the one looking at the budget is go, where are we spending the money? And wait till you hear where we are spending the money in Orlando. You want to talk about just a bunch of morons running a budget. You can't put it any other way, Anthony, when you look at some of the line items to where this city is considering spending your money if you live in Orlando. It's mind-numbing to me, Anthony, right here, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. $2.4 million. Most of that earmarked for marketing. It's run by the Downtown Development Board, and basically it's advertising for downtown. 2.4, it's called community outreach, everybody, and it is $2.4 million on the budget so that they can run advertising and promotions for downtown. How's that working out, everybody? How's that downtown outreach going for you? How many ads have you seen and you were like, boy, I can't wait to go downtown now to Orlando? How many don't we have? We have Visit Orlando already that gets $99 million. Now the city of Orlando has earmarked $2.4 million for mostly advertising and outreach to get people to come to downtown Orlando. Who's the marketing genius who's screwing this up? $2.4 million. I can make people go anywhere for $2.4 million. And yet nobody wants to go downtown because of the advertising or marketing. There must be, I don't know what intern they hired from what department, but this person's an idiot. If you gave me a $2.4 million budget, I could get people to show up just about anywhere in the world. But we can't get people to flood into downtown Orlando, but yet our city is going to spend $2.4 million is what they've earmarked over there for advertising. So number one, hey, boom, that's gone. That's $2.4 million for police right there. Get rid of that. Oh, the big one, Anthony, get this. The Downtown Orlando Action Plan, over $6 million. This is that beautiful master plan, everybody, for redoing downtown streets and public spaces, Church Street, that stupid canopy under I-4, the Lake Eola Gateway Project, and the Orange and Roslyn two-way street conversions, all under this plan for $6 million. Get rid of that right now. So now, hey, listen, Anthony, right off the bat, we have saved $8.5 million already. So get this one. They've earmarked $2 million, not for the work, folks, not for any construction to be made. $2 million for design work only on the park underneath I-4, not construction, plannings and drawings.
$2 million for
You can't make this up, man.
what?
The city is so stupid. They have set aside $2 million. They're spending $2 million this budget season right now. They're spending $2 million to get some drawings and some plans for what already is the dumbest idea you can possibly imagine. We're going to put a park underneath Interstate 4, a park. Everybody, I mean, listen, you don't have to be some genius, do you? I mean, let's just common sense here, everybody. What are the problems that we have in downtown Orlando? If you've ever been here, you know what they are. Okay. It's the crap people that come out there at night. It's the hood rats, all that BS that happens at night, all the loitering, all the vagrancy. Those are the nighttime problems, right? What are the daytime problems in downtown Orlando? What do you think they are, Anthony? What's the daytime problem in downtown Orlando?
The homelessness?
Damn, yeah, that's right. So homelessness is the problem in downtown Orlando. Anthony nailed it and took him all of 2 seconds. Okay. So work with me on this, everyone. If we go ahead and we build a park underneath an interstate in downtown Orlando, I wonder what we're going to attract more of in that area. Ding, ding, homelessness. So the exact problem that we have, the wonderful city leadership that we have has decided that they're going to build a park underneath an interstate, and that's somehow going to help solve the problem.
I saw too that we had that one video of like literally that exact interstate and like 20 homeless people just under that.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have a park there. And
oh, yeah. You got to have a park there. That's going to solve the problem. Put down some green, turf is what they're going to do. Because you don't have any sun there, so it's not going to be any grass. So what are you going to do? You're going to put down some green turf and some benches. No one's going to go there. What's Orlando resident is thinking to themselves, or anybody who comes to Central Florida? Hey, what do you want to do today, babe? Hey, let's go downtown underneath the interstate and hang out at the park. Said nobody ever in the history of humankind, because it'd be the dumbest thing you can do. Number one, no sunshine because you're sitting there under an interstate. The smell underneath an interstate. The fact that you're sitting there and the traffic is going above you, all above you the entire time, so it's loud and you can't hear anything. But yet our beautiful city leadership, they just said, yes, this seems like a good idea. And in fact, let's spend $2 million just planning it. Like not even like doing the work. Let's just spend $2 million actually putting together some designs, some drawings to get people excited. They must be giving those over to the community outreach program and saying, hey, push these designs right here out to get people in Orlando excited about what we're doing. We're not ever going to actually do anything, and everyone knows that it's a completely useless project. But what we'll do is we'll make some nice artist renditions and then run some Instagram ads with those and hope some local realtors pick it up and it gets exciting for residents. It's like this dystopian world we live in Orlando where they just kind of tell you things are going to happen and then you get excited about it. And then 2 years later, you forget about it and go, where did that go? And everyone looks at each other and goes, I don't know. Somehow it never got built. It's not done. Let's keep on going. Next, we've got the Lake Eola Master Plan, another $2 million. A planning and improvement fund for Lake Eola Park. How many of you seen anything at Lake Eola improve lately besides the small businesses that have been leaving that area? Then we've got downtown lighting. We put $1.5 million toward decorative and street lighting in downtown. Hey, just a question for everybody who lives downtown. Anybody know where that lighting is? The answer is no, because no one has a clue what we're talking about right there. And then I'm going to tell you, the list goes on with a bunch of parking initiatives, but the two that really stuck out to my mind, don't worry, everybody. We spent $805,000 on pickleball courts. Pickleball courts at Lake Beardall. All right. Because you know what was more important than hiring police and putting a fund together for that was that we needed good pickleball courts in Orlando. Parks and pickleball courts. That's how we're going to solve the problem, according to our city leadership. It's absolute insanity. And then I can't make this up, everybody. Lou Gardens got a Wi-Fi upgrade for $200,000. Folks, Lou Gardens is where you go to disconnect from your cell phone. Literally, it's a garden. Why do we need a Wi-Fi upgrade? There's one historic house that is right there. If they need some Wi-Fi, just put a router out there. Call T-Mobile. We love T-Mobile. They'll have it literally delivered to their door. They spent $200,000 to upgrade the Wi-Fi at a place that people go to disconnect from their cell phone. $200,000. You could have hired multiple officers, and instead we decide to upgrade the Wi-Fi at Lou Gardens. This is only the tip of the iceberg. We can find about $10 million right there wasted by this city. Wasted. And that's just the top line right there, Anthony. We just look for the top ones. I think if you gave me and you maybe 30 minutes, we could whack off about, I don't know, $30 million off of this budget, because most of it is completely useless and nothing ever comes to fruition. And Anthony, it doesn't stop there. I know you want to jump in. Keep it. What do you got?
Well, I was going to say too, like, don't get me wrong.
It gets worse.
I like a pickleball court, but $800,000 to make a pickleball court? That's
805. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, I mean, they needed it.
I think, I don't know, whoever they have for this construction thing, definitely profiting some money, because I don't know what they're doing, but they're just like, you're going to rake in all the money because we can just say whatever budget and then the city will just pay it.
Yeah, 100%. So last night, Buddy Dyer, he said now they may have to cancel projects that are already planned or approved. What could that entail, everybody? What do you know? Old phase 1 of Church Street might be postponed, everybody. You remember us talking about it, that $5.2 million, 500-foot stretch of road where they're digging up some bricks and, I don't know, mashing down some sidewalks. That $5.2 million project that we thought was crazy to begin with might just have to be postponed now all of a sudden. Couldn't it be because it's absolutely insane that we're going to pay $5.2 million for 500 feet of road? But yeah, don't worry. They literally took out last week. They took shovels and put them into the ground. And Buddy Dyer was quoted last week as saying, many of us remember Church Street in its heyday, one of the region's great entertainment destinations. At one point, Church Street was the 4th most visited tourist attraction in the entire state of Florida. Shovel into the ground. And now, well, a week later, what do you know? We may have to cancel projects that are already planned or underway. Surprise, surprise for Orlando. Once again, you get your hopes up, and then city leadership just hits you with the truth, which is a lot more of the same. Nothing's going to get done, and it's just more broken promises because we don't have the money all of a sudden. Let's blame the state, blame everybody else. They literally had the golden shovels in the ground a week ago, and it doesn't take even 1 week for them to start saying, well, I don't think we're going to have the money for this, so I don't think we're going to be able to do it. It took 1 week, everybody. One. I mean, it feels like, Anthony, sometimes I'm sitting here going, has this always been this way? Could a government and a department in a city be run any less efficiently? The answer is, I don't think so. I think we must be living in the worst run city in America. The amount of money that's wasted, the amount of progress that's not happening, the amount of opportunity that's being squandered by this city and the leadership is mind-numbing. And yet somehow, like, it just kind of seems like, it's par for the course. You know, another budget meeting last night, we're just going to allocate $2 million to some planning and some drawings. Like, somehow that's normal. Have any of these people ever run a business? I can't imagine, man. I'm just going through. I'm like, yeah, guys, what are we doing today? Oh, we got the plannings and drawings coming in. Well, what did that run us? $2 million. Yeah, that seems right. That seems appropriate. Nobody who actually has ever run a business or really had to balance a budget or worried about their own income or payroll or how taxes are really going to be paid would ever run things this way.
Okay.
No one. $2 million for some drawings. I want to be a contractor with a government contract with Orlando, because they literally have to laugh every time they go to the negotiating table. Whoever this company was, we talked about, is Atlantic Civil Constructors Corporation. Yeah, that sounds right. Atlantic Civil Constructors Corporation. That's the company that was awarded $5.2 million for the 500 feet of street right there on Church.
Crazy.
To dig up some bricks and crush some sidewalks and make it, quote, festival ready. That's what we needed. Meanwhile, a week later, Buddy Dyer comes down and says, well, I don't know. I mean, we might have to postpone projects that are, already approved. We'll see what happens, okay? Come on, man. What are we doing around here?
At least if they did do that Church Street thing, I'd be like, you know what? At least he did it. At least he did something. But now, literally nothing.
Nothing. There's just nothing for it right now. I'll take a look at if you want to really look at the numbers, look at the last 10 years, okay? In the last 10 years, from 2016 through 2026, positions within the city, we had 1,973. They grew to 2,423. That's a difference of 450 personnel that have been added to the city. Now, during that time, we've added 286 police and 109 first responders like EMS, firefighters. So I want to just get that right. 450 non-first responder positions have been added to the city of Orlando and 286 cops. So what we need the most are police, and yet we're adding executive positions in there over the last 10 years. If people want to know why someone like DeSantis is looking at these local governments and going, hey guys, you need to go ahead and trim the fat, it's because of crap like this. Stop, everybody. Do we really believe in the last 10 years we needed 450 new positions in the city of Orlando to do what? What about the city is approved when it comes to efficiency? Is there anything we feel like is done well in the city of Orlando? Nope. But yet we added 450 new executive positions in that amount of time in the last 10 years. So 45 positions a year. Break that down, everybody. If you want to use round numbers right here, let's just talk about 4 to 5 positions every month getting added to the city of Orlando. They're just hiring like crazy, putting out salaries, and meanwhile, nothing in the city becomes more efficient or better. But yeah, we don't have enough money to go and hire new police officers. We have a budget deficit. We're spending millions on funding projects that are never going to come to fruition, planning for projects that are never going to happen. We can't hire more police officers. We can't hire more personnel. And somehow it's the state's fault, not what we're doing here locally at the Orlando level. That is the message from City Council and Buddy Dyer, and they expect you to believe it. It is the biggest, it's the biggest, it's almost a joke if it wasn't true, Anthony.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, man.
It's like we have the money, but they're just spending it on just stupid stuff.
$2 million for some drawings, everybody. $2.4 million to go ahead and market and advertise those drawings for projects that are never going to happen. Even now, the mayor is saying, well, sorry, guys, those projects that are in progress or they're approved might have to be pulled back.
Who's doing these drawings? Like Michelangelo or something? Like,
again,
why,
man,
why
can you imagine what company put this together? Like, there's AI, folks. I don't think it's very difficult to put together a drawing. I can go to Claude Design right now and give you something pretty good in about 30 minutes if Orlando wants to pay me $2 million for that. You can go to ChatGPT, give it a description, and it can give you an image right now that is better or comparable than what the city of Orlando has put out there. But yet somebody got paid $2 million. How much of a moron do you have to be to award that contract? Who was the person who said, let's give it to this company? That seems right. I mean, they're going to give us like 100 pictures and it'll be really good artist rendition of what it's going to look like, all the trees and the stupid canopy that everyone's paying for that nobody likes or even understands, but costs $30 million. Let's go ahead and let's go to an artist rendition of that. How much do you think we should pay for that? $1 million? No. $2 million. That seems reasonable. Huh? Like, no one who runs a small business can look at that seriously and go, yeah, that makes sense to me. Only people that make sense to are the City Council of Orlando. You all are the biggest bunch of morons I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. I mean, whoever these people are, go to the private industry, try to run a business, make payroll, get a profit, get people to purchase from you and then repurchase from you because you deliver a great service. You know, it's like they don't have to compete for anything, so no one cares about what they spend or how they spend it.
Yeah.
God, man, it's so frustrating to watch this go down. It's just like you're watching this train wreck before your eyes and you're telling, get off the tracks, get off the tracks. And yet we're sitting in it right there and we're just watching this slow death of a city by the people who are just so inept. They can't even run a budget properly. They won't make cuts because they're afraid of offending people right now. And meanwhile, the city just dies underneath them, but they blame it on the state because they don't have any money. And they're wasting millions of dollars on plannings, drawings, and parks underneath interstates. But yeah, it's the state's fault, not the fact that you're an absolute idiot.
So
Come
the
on.
person that's doing the $2 million drawings, we can't, I don't know, take that budget and give it to the bar owners so they don't have to pay these AMS fees or.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? AMS fees, yeah.
Yeah. But,
I mean, meanwhile, you have small businesses, Anthony, like we talked about, that are struggling every month. They've got to pay these AMS fees in advance of keeping their doors open for that weekend. And yet they are struggling. They're a small business. They know that the profit is small. All right. The margins are not huge when it comes to running a business like that. I mean, you've got to try to make it work every single week. Okay. And they're paying thousands of dollars in top line revenue just off the top, going right over to the city. Meanwhile, the city takes in money and spends $2 million on drawings. Who has their priorities wrong? The small business owner that's trying to get by in the entertainment district where none of the problems are happening within his bar or his club or his venue? Or is it the city that lets people run rampant in the streets and then spends money instead of on police on drawings for parks? You tell me who has it wrong. I think it's pretty clear where their priorities are off. Mm-hmm. And folks, I'm going to end the story right there because I know that I've taken a lot of time today on this one, but it's strictly because when I look at what the city of Orlando is doing, it's not criminal, obviously. I mean, they're just inept and they're stupid, but what it should be is it's gross negligence. It is people that honestly, I'm not sure they can string together 3 sentences to understand how to run an effective budget. What the conversation should have been, let me tell you what leadership looks like, everybody. When you have a leader, what that leader will do is they will stand up and go, listen, unfortunately, we're going to have to make cuts to things that we don't want to make cuts to. Things that, you know what, we thought were going to happen, but they're not. And it's my fault. There's the difference. My fault. I've run a budget that, you know what, was we couldn't sustain. And now I'm going to have to walk this back and I'm going to have to make changes. You don't blame other people. You don't blame other circumstances. A true leader will step up and say, I made a mistake. But that happens in the private industry. It happens here in my company. I'm the one I'll say I made a mistake and I expect everybody else here to do the exact same thing. But it doesn't happen in politics because people want their next political appointment, their next position, because they haven't actually worked for anything. They just need to know they need to get elected to the next thing so they can keep that bread coming in. You know, just keep on keeping on. Because for a lot of these people, I'm going to tell you what it is. They have no idea what they're doing. They know they have no clue what they're doing. And if you caught them after a few drinks, I know they'd tell you they have no clue what they're doing. But they like it because it gives them power that they know they never be able to go out and get. Never any kind of influence. They never be able to build a business on their own. None of them would be able to because they know they can't do it here when they have an unlimited budget, perhaps. I mean, it's practically an unlimited budget that the city of Orlando has. It's just kind of just keep on getting fed. And yet they're wasting it to the point where the city is decaying, small businesses are leaving, and priorities are so far off that 7 schools have had to close in Orange County. And yeah, it's Orange County, not Orlando, but Orlando's the center of Orange County, and everybody knows it. It's people are idiots, man.
Yeah, it just makes me sad. Not because like I want the city to be bad. It's just there's a lot of potential in it, and it could be great.
The city could be awesome. The city was awesome, and this is what happened when you have poor leadership and weak leaders. Weak leadership. Now we've got rough times. What is that? You know that saying, right? The weak, weak people create, what is it? Strong leaders create weak times or something like that. Weak times create strong leaders, and whatever it is. Forgive me. Everyone will be like, "Oh, I know that one." But basically, when you have weak leadership, you're going to get hard times, is what it is. And that's where we're at within the city of Orlando. The only thing that props the city up is the state of Florida just has such an influx of people that are coming here that even the city of Orlando is struggling to screw it up, but they are finding a way. Yeah. I want to take us down south, though, Anthony, for our next story. We're going down south to a story that we actually covered about a week ago. It's about this individual named DreamDoll Brii. Her real name is Brianna Johnson. She was 21 years, Brianna Johnson, 21 years old. She went by DreamDoll Brii. She had about 88,000 followers on IG, about 400,000 or so followers over on TikTok. She posted a lot of lifestyle and beauty content, hosted parties around South Florida. Now, back on July the 5th, she happened to be in a green Lamborghini. We know that because we can see the video of that. Police say that a white sedan around 5:33 in the morning rolled up next to this Lamborghini and opened up fire along the driver's side, putting at least 12 bullets into the car. Brianna Johnson died along with her cousin, who died later at the hospital. The other individual in the vehicle was hit in the jaw. It was wired shut, and that individual was released. Now, here's what I'm not understanding about this entire case, okay? For those of you, we've seen the footage. We actually have a timeline of where this individual was leading up to the actual car being fired upon. So we've got surveillance footage. We've got a timeline of where the person was. We've got an argument at a gas station. I mean, for crying out loud, when it comes to Miami, when it comes to homicides, they've got more information about this case than they do about anything. And in the meantime, this case is still unsolved now 9 days later. I mean, it's a white BMW sedan, dark tints. It's going southbound. We got tips that came in from 911. We've got the shot spotter data. For those of you not familiar, Miami has something called shot spotter. It's when gunfire happens within the city. There's AI and there's stuff that picks it up and it lets the cops know that there's gunfire that's happened, and it actually tells them when it happened right there. So we've got that we know has happened. We've got 911 calls that have been released. I mean, there is a lot of stuff here. We've actually got a movement timeline. Investigators say the group had been at a mansion party earlier that night, had gone to 2 gas stations before the shooting. A fight allegedly had broke out at the gas station. We have somebody that survived the shooting. I'm shocked right now that Miami has not made any arrest in this case. It seems like there is a lot of evidence right here, Anthony, for this one to be solved.
Yeah, I really hope that they solve this soon, which I feel like knowing them, they're probably looking at it, probably doing as much as they can, but it's just kind of shocking to me that it's still been ongoing and it's been a week.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like when I look at this, you've got somebody who was some kind of influencer, not somebody that I follow. I'm not a beauty and lifestyle person, but over there in Miami, rolling from mansion parties, doing their thing, probably making some cool content, whatever. Okay, whatever. Bye. More power to her. But you're sitting there and you got a white sedan BMW, pulls alongside green Lamborghini. We've got the footage of it, opens fire, killing 2 individuals, leaving one almost dead, shoots him in the face. And yet there's no arrests that have been made in this. So for those of you that are following this case, we're going to try to follow it. But I have been very surprised that Miami has not made any arrests in this one. It seems like there is a lot of information about this case, and there's a lot of desire to solve it. And cases like this are very important for cities to solve, because when you have these high profile homicide cases, you want to make sure that you solve them and that you send a message to people that this kind of stuff is not going to be accepted in your city. I mean, look at Orlando. We don't send that message at all. Miami, you don't want to turn into Orlando. So what you want to do is make sure that you solve these things and then send a message to people that that kind of stuff is not going to be tolerated in your city. If you do that, you'll win. I agree with you, Anthony. I would give this another couple of days. They probably are running down leads on this one, but I am surprised 9 days after this shooting, which happened right after July 4th, it was July 5th, early in the morning, that this thing has not been solved right now, because you've got eyewitnesses, you've got 911, you've got a timeline, you've got video of that entire thing, of the shooting itself. You've got video of that, right?
Yep.
So we have video of the shooting. It seems to me like this one will be a pretty cut and dry case to close, but we're going to see how this one goes as we lead into 2 weeks of this one being unsolved.
My theory on this is they might have an idea of who the person is. They might just be getting evidence.
Yeah.
So way then, because it's a murder case, they got to prove that that person was in that car at that particular time, that this person was the one that shot it, all that stuff. So I feel like they maybe try to gather as much evidence as they can before they make that arrest, which I hope they do and get justice for her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, anytime you got to be a real coward, bro, to pull up on the side of a car and open up fire like that. Like, I mean, that's just such a coward move, like a drive-by like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to stand toe-to-toe with somebody, if you're going to get in a fist fight with someone, okay, listen, we can all have disagreements about what's right and wrong, but I can tell you that going to the side of a vehicle like that, it's just a real coward move. I don't like that at all. I don't like anything that people would do, but that to me is just, when it comes to street credit, if you want to talk about like the way to do things, it seems like just such a coward move to do.
Yeah.
So let's hope they find this person quickly. They get the full punishment of the law. And there's justice for two people that lost their lives. There's no point to that. It's just so senseless for people to be that stupid. And I'm hoping that the police find this individual. And like I said, they prosecute him to the full, or her to the full extent of the law. Yep. Our next story is also about the law, and we're actually talking about an attorney. His name is Ben Crump. And for those of you who have been in Florida, you probably recognize the name. He's a prominent civil rights attorney. We've heard about him before, but most recently, the man has been in the news because he is the attorney for the Ortiz family. We've been on top of this case from the beginning. Millie Ortiz was a 92-year-old woman who tragically lost her life at the hands of an Orlando PD officer back in January. On January 18th, she was on her way home from bingo. An OPD officer moved his way through the corner of, it was not Cimarron. Was it Cimarron and Hoffner?
I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
So Cimarron and Hoffner turned his lights on, moved his way through an intersection, claiming that he was trying to follow somebody who had just made an illegal U-turn. His lights turned off. The reason for that is still left unknown. As he went through the intersection, he struck Millie Ortiz's car, and she passed away from this incident. There's a lot of back and forth about why this happened, what happened with the lights, what the officer was doing. There are unknowns that we still don't know. But the Ortiz family has hired Ben Crump to represent them, and he has slanted that he is going to file a $92 million lawsuit. And on the surface, it sounded good. I know it sounds like a good idea to people, but I want to break this down because I feel like we're going to be fair in this case, and we always will be. I don't take sides. I don't sit here and go, I'm always going to be on the side of the Millie Ortiz family, or I'm always going to be on the side of OPD. I report what I see when we do the facts, and me and Anthony looks at a case and we think it might be interesting to you, and we report what we believe is the truth. And here's what I believe is the truth, okay? First of all, the law says that Orlando Police Department is not going to be on the hook for $92 million. That is not my opinion. That is actually law in the state of Florida. It's Florida Statute 768.28. What it does is it gives immunity to a level to the actual municipality. So they can only collect, a person can only collect up to $200,000 and $300,000 per incident from the government for bodily harm. A jury can award more, but the city does not have to pay $1 above the cap unless the Florida legislature passes separate claims bill. And they tried to do exactly that. And in fact, it passed 36-0. But DeSantis, back on June the 29th, actually vetoed the bill. And it was just going to bring things up from 200,000. The cap stated, let's see, it was going to bring it up from, I believe it was $50,000 is all that it was going to bring it up. It wasn't a big increase or anything like that, but Santos thought that it was going to bring frivolous lawsuits, so he vetoed the entire thing. I want to go back to exactly how much money the family can collect, all right? The state's sovereign immunity law, which is what I referenced a few minutes ago, 768.28, what it says, a person can collect a maximum of $200,000 per person and $300,000 per incident from a government body. That includes cities and police departments. A jury can award more, but the city does not have to pay above the cap unless the Florida legislature passes a separate bill, which we just went over. The governor vetoed the entire thing. So when you hear that this family is filing a $92 million lawsuit against the government, I want everyone to know they're not going to get it. That doesn't mean that it's not worth $92 million. It means that law does not allow or require the city to pay that out. Now, there are two other entities that are in this lawsuit right here, and it does show that Crump is going to federal court with it. And those two entities are the private company who handles the fleet and the light manufacturer that they say malfunctioned. That's the lights on top of the vehicle. And so those two are private entities right there, and they can be sued for above the cap that the city has, because there is no cap to what they can sue them for. Now, do I think they're going to get $92 million for this? I don't. And I really think that it's more symbolic, and even Crump said so himself, that it's a symbolic number for the number of years that Millie Ortiz was alive. And so I really worry about this, Anthony, when I see these big numbers that come out, because people get excited about them, but then what they don't understand is that the number that the family is going to receive is going to be far less than this number right here. And I think it kind of lets the sail out for some, lets the wind out of the sail for some people, because when they see the final number, it's not going to be anywhere close to 92 million.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this case. I think what he's trying to do is get a lot of publicity. So I think a big number like that will make a big jump in publicity. And I hope that I'm thinking that the family kind of knows that they're probably not going to be making that amount of money, but they're hoping to settle, from what I'm assuming, they're going to probably settle somewhere in between, or somewhere at least a couple million out of that instead of that 92 million, which I don't think they're going to get the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. This is a promotional stunt I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say it's a promotional stunt. I don't know, and I can't say to the intent of Ben Crump or anything. But I can also say you might be right about this, in the respect that by promoting this number, you bring attention to a case, and you may bring outside pressure onto a department or a private entity like the light manufacturer to settle for a number they otherwise wouldn't settle for, because they see the outside pressure coming in. Yeah. So while it could be a ruse in a way, it could be a useful ruse that could be used for the family's benefit. I'm not saying that that's not the case. The one thing that confuses me is that when I went back and I watched this footage of Crump announcing this $92 million lawsuit, the one thing he said was that it was going to come to federal court. And that was surprising to me, because federal court, very different. It suggests to me that we're looking at a civil rights claim. Ben Crump is a civil rights attorney. That's what he's known for. And so when I see civil rights attorney, plus you're filing within federal court, I think civil rights claim in Section 1983, which requires proving a constitutional violation, not just negligence. I think that they're going to have a tough time proving that in court if you're taking this to the federal level, because a malfunctioning light is a very hard thing to prove a constitutional violation in a civil rights type case. I think it's legitimate then, because of that, to raise the question of, is this somebody, Ben Crump, is this attorney going after what's in the best interest of the family, or what's in the best interest of promoting his name as a civil rights attorney? That is a fair question to ask, in my opinion, Anthony. And when I see this, I wonder, what would be in the best interest of this family? And is what he's doing actually the case, or is it just more publicity for him? That's a question that the family and the public is going to have to answer as this case proceeds.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the family, and I hope that whatever outcome comes out, that they can feel not happy, but just feel that there was justice being served, and get a little bit of closure from this, especially since it's been going on since January. So,
yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, the reason we picked up this story is because nobody was covering this, okay? And it's clear there is fault in what has happened. It is clear that there needs to be accountability. Who is accountable and to what extent is a very important thing to understand, right? Who is that going to be, that person that pays? Who is going to be the entity that is held accountable? These are things that you have to work out within the court system. What everybody can agree on is that the family is owed closure. And yes, I believe part of that should be somebody else taking accountability with a financial side and paying this family for what has been a terrible, terrible incident they've had to deal with. Now, there are some people out there I know that go, well, You know, no amount of money is going to bring somebody back. And so it shouldn't be that way. Yeah, it should. All right. Because to prevent this kind of stuff from happening, you've got to put financial penalties so that people make changes and they don't continue to do the same thing. Because I can promise you, if the fleet management system has to go in and pay up to the Ortiz family, they're going to be a lot more careful in the future about the way that they sign off on vehicles. If this light manufacturer has to do the same, then I promise the stuff that goes on top of vehicles is going to be a lot more fail-safe. And I'm sure that they are already doing that right now, knowing that these lawsuits are coming down. They're already dotting their I's and crossing their T's more, which makes streets safer, police officers safer, the public safer. That's a win for everybody, but that only happens when you attach a financial penalty onto a lawsuit like this, and you make people accountable financially when they make a mistake. That's how the private market works. It's how it should work, and this family deserves to be compensated for their loss.
Yeah, and I know for the family, it's going to be so it's a little bit of an uphill battle for them as far as when it's like a police officer involved in a case that they're trying to do an emergency thing, and it's harder for them to get money from that, or because I know kind of a side story, but in beginning of this year in January, my brother-in-law, he was like driving a car, and there's a car stopped in front of him. The guy got out, and like there's like all these cop cars, and like I guess there's a whole shooting going on.
Oh
and
my gosh.
So he was literally like the guy got out of the car, the cops are shooting at him, and the guy was shooting at the cops and stuff, and he had to duck his head under his car, and literally like one of the bullets from one of the cops trying to shoot the guy came in through his window and like hit his car and stuff like that and broke his window. But luckily he was okay. The guy was gone, like the suspect was killed, but everyone's fine. But he was going to try to get his window fixed, and like he couldn't claim it because it was a investigation from a police thing, and so they couldn't get money from the police because it was a part of the incident with the emergency, so he had to pay it out of pocket just to get his window fixed.
Wow.
Crazy.
Come on,
So,
I mean, the police should,
I know,
if it's a bullet from their thing, I mean, they should definitely cover that, right?
It was funny too, because he's a firefighter, so all the firefighters came over and were like, "Oh, what up, dude?" And we're saying like, "Oh my god, can't believe you were there."
Wow.
But crazy.
Yeah. I mean, in a case like that, I believe the police should definitely handle that. They should be the ones who are responsible for paying that one right there.
Yeah.
Man, that's a scary situation to be in right there.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks they're tough, right? Like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the face. Everybody thinks you're tough till you see some guns going off in front of you, and then you really start to figure out that this isn't like the movies. Everybody, all right? You don't get like 10 shots. I mean, literally, it takes one. And so when I look at situations like you're talking about with your brother-in-law, and I look at these situations like this, we don't know how long we have, right? And when your time is up, I think that everyone wants to have the opportunity to go out on their own terms, right? And God willing, we all should have that opportunity, to say goodbye to the people that we love, to have as many moments as we can with them. And when somebody like Millie Ortiz loses her life unfairly, unjustly, in an accident that was preventable, right? And did nothing wrong. Listen, there needs to be accountability for that, because you took a family's life. You took a family's ability to have moments, or the opportunity. You took a family's opportunity to have moments with that individual, to say goodbye, to say what they wanted to say. You don't get another chance at that in this life, and I don't know what happens afterwards. And when somebody unfairly or unjustly takes that away from you, whether it's a city or an entity or a person, they need to be held accountable. And I believe that it needs to happen here. I'm just concerned about the optics of it. $92 million for something like this. It's not going to happen. But yet I believe that we need to have financial penalties that are strong enough that institute a change in policy, because obviously something went very wrong here and somebody needs to be held accountable to that.
Yeah, definitely.
I know we got short on time right here, so I'm only going to cover this last story, okay? This one's a really interesting one. Would you consider dancing to be a sport, Anthony? I'm serious about this. Dancing. I wouldn't consider dancing to be a sport. Would you? I don't know. There's competitive dance, there's cheerleading. I mean, I don't really know, but there's like, it's a big deal in this next story here.
I think so. I mean, if you're one of those like competitive dancing, then you're basically like fighting for another team, and I think so.
Okay. So this past week, there was the North American Irish Dance Championships. That's really the name of it, everybody. It was the 2026 North American Irish Dance Championships. It was here in Orlando at the Rosen Center Hotel. The reason it matters if it's a sport or not is that our Attorney General took it upon himself to write a letter to this board who is holding the event. There were two boards that were holding it because there was an athlete who identified as a woman, but that was born a male, who was competing in this national championship. And our Attorney General in Florida said, no, that is not permitted in the state of Florida. People are not allowed to, if you're born a certain race or a certain gender, you can't compete in the other gender. It doesn't matter how you transition in the state of Florida. That's what the law says now. And so he wrote a letter to these organizations threatening suit against them. It was a 4-page letter. He released it on X, in which part Uthmeyer says Florida law protects fair competition for actual women and girls. Sex-based categories are rooted in biological reality, not ideology. My office will take appropriate legal action against any failure to comply, meaning that they wanted this individual removed from the competition so that this individual cannot compete against biologically born females. The person ended up withdrawing from the competition. And so this thing did not actually need to go any further. But I think that it opens up a very interesting point right here, is that at what point do we call something a sport? Is it any competition? Is it anything that requires one person to win and one person to lose? I think for me, when I was looking at this, I thought to myself, I'm like, really? Irish dance competitions from a private organization being held in a ballroom in the Rosen Plaza Hotel? That's what our AG, our Attorney General, okay, listen, that's your big thing that you need to be working on right now. I mean, this isn't a physical sport. This isn't a high school thing. This is a private, Irish dance competition. They're privately held. People do not, it's not a public, any kind of funding at all right here. I was surprised to see an attorney general get involved with this one, Anthony. And I think it blurs the line for me a little bit about what exactly are sports. I would not have put Irish dance competitions in the category of sports that were protected under this Florida law. And I'm a little bit surprised that the attorney general spent his time writing a 4-page letter to go after this one. It seems like a little bit of a stretch to me. I'm not saying that I disagree with it. I'm just saying that, seems like a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I don't know if it's for one, if it's like a private event
It is
like I don't know. I feel like it's a little extra for this particular thing. Like I can understand if it was wrestling or something like that, where it's competitive dance, you're probably just by yourself doing a thing and not have to you're competing against other women, but you're not really, I don't know.
This one's tough on me. So for those of you who remember, on June the 30th, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld state laws banning transgender girls from girls' school sports, ruling they do not violate Title IX or the Constitution. So, but school sports and the word sports there, I think does make a difference to me. And I want to be fair about that, because is Irish dancing in a private capacity a sport that is going to need to be governed by our attorney general in Florida? I mean, at what point do attorney generals get involved? Like, what if we have a jet ski competition for girls and guys, and there's a transgender guy or girl that competes on one side for jet skiing? Is that something that is now protected because it's a sport in the state of Florida? I don't know the answer to this. I'm literally asking this right now. if like jet skiing or I don't know, whatever competition you want to come up with that sounds a little bit obscure, is that something now that the government needs to get involved with to make sure that private entities are doing it the way they want to have it done in Florida?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I disagree with what they said right here, but for the attorney general to send a 4-page letter last week to this group for an Irish dance competition in a ballroom at the Rosen Plaza Hotel seems like we might not have our priorities straight right there. And it seems like a little bit of grandstanding. But it opens up a new category of what is a sport and how far should the government go to enforce this transgender ban that the Supreme Court has upheld.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair question right now.
Would you consider like NASCAR a sport? Like,
Yeah,
so then,
I would consider NASCAR to be a sport. And
because in NASCAR they have like men and women, so it's not like only a men thing. So
yeah,
kinda
I
hard.
think when you divide it into men and women's categories, which is what they had done here at this Irish dance competition, there had been 2 categories divided, and you had someone that was competing in one category, in a different category than what their biological gender would have assigned them to. So you have that, that's what the dispute was right there.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, number one, is Irish dance competitions considered to be a sport? And then number 2, do we want the government getting this involved in private competitions that could or cannot be a sport? Just because there is an opportunity to, I guess, grandstand on the fact that Florida has been the front runner, what do you want to call it, of this particular law. And yes, last or a couple weeks ago, the United States Supreme Court upheld what Florida has been trying to say for a while. I get it. It's a good chance to be able to really shove it to them, okay? But I just wonder, like, okay, is this the best use of our time at the state level? And if we are saying that Irish dance competitions are where we want to draw the line, what comes next? Is there any kind of disparity between men and women needs to be, I don't know, refereed by the state government? I don't know if I like that. I have no problem with people getting involved at the high school level. I have no problem with, any kind of physical activity stuff, but Irish dance competitions, this one seems to me like there could be a gray area right here and that's the reason I'm talking about it, because I think it's worth at least discussing what is going on in this state right now.
I can understand if it was like a public thing, like
Mhm.
public school where it's like that, but it's a private thing. So who cares besides that private like corporation?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This one's an interesting one. I'd love to know from people out there as you watch this in the comments section, right? Like, should the government get involved with an Irish dance competition if you have a person who is not born in that particular gender competing in that gender?
Yeah.
Should they get involved with that? Is that something for the state government to say, hey, listen, we're not going to allow this in the state? Or is that something for private entities like this Irish dance competition committee? Is that something for them to deal with?
Yeah. And then even looking at some pictures from that event, it looks like it's not like a solo act. It's like a group act. So it's just one person out of that entire group.
Man, I see so many different ways I could think about this one, because there's part of me that says, listen, come on, it's Irish dance. Like, we need to let this thing go. But then the other part of me says, well, if you let that go, where does it go down from there, right? So I can see both sides of this right here. I can see both sides of this coin, if you want to look at it that way.
Because it's like, it's weird, because if you let it go, then it could go that side. But then if you bring it up, then it's like, where else could it go?
Right. It could go, there's a slippery slope on both sides on this one right here, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, as a state, we have to watch how we do this. We have to watch, where we take this thing, because, what is it? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. We need to make sure that although the state has made the right move in what they've done, that it doesn't become overbearing, and the state doesn't get involved in things that it shouldn't get involved with. And I don't know if this is one they should. I can see both sides of this one.
Like, I'm a person in the middle, and I could see
the
extremes on the right, the extremes on the left, and it personally, for me, I don't think they should have just even got involved. That seems too silly to me. It's
I think what you saw here is you had an AG that right after the law gets upheld, or the Supreme
Trying to
Court says
enforce
they're in the
it, yeah.
right, it's just an opportunity to get out there and send his letter and to go, look, we're in the free state of Florida, and this is the way we do things around here. I think that's really what happened right here.
yeah.
I don't think this is normally something that probably an attorney general would get involved with, but when you've got the week before, you've got the Supreme Court handing down a ruling like that in a conservative government in the state of Florida, you're going to see them flex a little muscle and do what they want to do because they just got a big win. It's what happens when governments get wins. They flex a little bit harder. And that's what you saw right here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man, we've had a packed show here today. I know we spent a lot of time on the first story, but it's worth spending time on, especially if you're in the state of Florida. Listen, it doesn't matter. Even if you're not in Orlando, like watching how your city is spending your money is extremely important, everybody. And it's hopefully if you're not in Orlando, you're in Jacksonville, you're in Tampa, you're in Miami, Naples, Cape Coral, whatever it is. And hopefully it brings some attention to you. Go, how is my city, how is my government spending the money that I'm sending to them? And I hope the Lord, it is not as bad as Orlando is spending it, because it's just an absolute waste of money right now. I'll tell you, we got a lot of content here today. Anthony, is there anything that we missed? Anything we need to cover here?
No, I think this is a great show.
It's a good show, man. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. For now, though, it is lunchtime right now on Tuesday. Y'all have yourself a great rest of the afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow here on the Patrick Carr Show.